So Star Wars Jedi Survivor is set to launch in March 2023, and we found a little bit of a teaser trailer for you. Let's check it out.
Tell me, Cal Kestis, why lead when they won't follow? Why fight when you can't win? What is your next move, Jedi?
There we have it, another game coming at you for Star Wars. How exciting. Now I've got Matt in the studio with me today. We're going to have a little chat about that. How do you feel about that, Matt?
You can't get rid of me, can you?
I can't. No, he's always here now.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. Star Wars and EA haven't exactly had a great relationship. Certainly over the last 10 years, people will mostly remember Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Battlefront 2, people loved the Battlefront games back in the day. They released the first one, it was okay, and then the second one, and it had all this drama to do with loot boxes, it had all this drama to do with pay to win.
Yeah.
Disney were pretty angry because it looked bad for them, and obviously Disney are very protective over their property. So EA really needed to get a banger in, basically, to try and get some of the audience back. And so they released Jedi Fallen Order in 2019, 18, 19, trying to think, 2018, I think. And it was brilliant. Yeah. Jedi Fallen Order was just fantastic. It was a single player experience. It was sort of semi-open world. There were lots of different secrets you could find. The combat was just so tight. It was really well designed. I would argue the best lightsaber combat in any game ever.
Wow, that's great.
If you're talking purely about Star Wars lightsabers anyway. It wasn't easy as well, which I liked. It was a good challenging game. It wasn't just one you could breeze through. The story was genuinely interesting. You had Cal, the main protagonist. You had Cal, the main protagonist, and you had BD-1, who was your little robot buddy, who sort of became the thing, you know, like in other Star Wars. Every Star Wars franchise has the little buddy character, you know, R2-D2 or whatever the ball is. I can't remember the name of the ball guy. Yeah. And so it became a massive hit. And so the fact that they were going to release a sequel was pretty much expected.
Yes.
I'm really interested to see where they take what is a really good, solid foundation of a game.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I mean, seeing that little teaser there, what did that kind of, what did you kind of take from it? I mean, the graphics look quite good, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really tell much from a teaser trailer. That's the thing. Like, they're there to make you excited. I'd like to see a proper gameplay trailer soon.
Yes.
To be like, okay, this is what we're planning to do with the game. This is why we might enhance it. Maybe we'll go full open world. Maybe they'll I know there's a new lightsaber, and there might be some like lightsaber mechanics, because you could use, what I really liked is you could choose dual lightsabers later in the game, which I don't think. I know Darth Maul is like the only dual lightsaber character anyone ever thinks about, right? Yeah. And it's like, well, it will be cool to have more dual lightsaber characters, more twin blade stuff. So absolutely. I'm interested to see where the combat goes, and as I say, the world design, characters. This is a major spoiler, by the way. If you haven't played Jedi Fallen Order, just mute for like 10 seconds. At the end of the game, Darth Vader appears, which no one knew or expected. And he's obviously now going to be, I think he might be integral to the next story. I'm interested to see how they do that, because one thing Disney are very keen on to make sure that everything that's canon is very much like, this is exactly correct, this is perfect. And also you'll get nerds on the internet complaining if you don't get it right. So I think I'm really intrigued to see where they take that as well.
Yes. Definitely. I mean, well, actually, Matt, this might not be the last game that we are seeing, because we've actually had a story where we're seeing that there's a bit of job posting on Lucasfilm Games, which hinting another Star Wars video game might be coming at you very, very soon. Now, the job listing does read Lucasfilm game production and marketing teams, as well as our world-class developers to deliver exceptional and authentic Star Wars experiences for fans and gamers alike. Now, we're unclear which game they're talking about, but we can safely say that I think it's going to be a title definitely deeply linked to Star Wars and something that we're going to love. So what do you think about that? Do you think that's teasing a few more games on the way?
Well, it's already interesting because I think Star Wars have about 8 games already, like they're planning. So after the EA deal split, I feel like I'm just doing a history of EA and Star Wars.
I like it.
So EA had this deal, and then they sort of moved out. And so now it seems like Disney are going, right, everyone gets a Star Wars game. Yeah. Everyone can make as many as you want.
Yeah.
And so we're getting everything from, obviously we're getting Survivor, sort of an action, Dark Souls-like, basically, that's kind of how they base the game.
Yeah.
We're getting a strategy game, which is sort of like XCOM or Mario Rabbids, kind of over the top. There's also a game coming out called Marvel's something or other, that's basically similar. So the top-down strategy games are quite interesting. There's also a story-based game from Quantic Dream, who's David Cage's company. You might know them from Detroit Become Human or something like that. They're doing one. I think there's also going to be there's a VR thing called Tales from the Outer Space thing. I can't exactly remember the name, but there's a VR thing coming as well. And then there's also this. And there's also one that's like a co-op, because everything's now like an Overwatch or a Valorant. So I think there's going to be a 5v5 Star Wars like multiplayer game as well.
That would be good.
And I guess they monetize the heck out of it, and the skins and all sorts of characters and that kind of thing. So I can see that working as well. But yeah, the fact that there's more job postings for more Star Wars. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, brilliant.
Amazing, right?
And also, if you have so many Star Wars games, one of them's got to be good, right?
Yes. Oh, definitely.
Like you might have some mediocre ones on this side.
Yeah.
But you might have another Jedi Fallen Order on this side.
Process of elimination, you've got to keep going. I mean, we did speak about VRs. Obviously, there's a new VR headset on the way, PSVR 2.
Yeah.
Would you like to play a Star Wars game on VR?
I think so. I think all space stuff really lends itself well to VR, especially being in spaceships, because one of the biggest problems with VR is motion. And if you're walking around in the game, but you're not, it's like being in a car. You sort of, that motion sickness is really unpleasant. But the idea of sitting up in like a seat, and you've got the space around you, but you're flying a plane.
Yeah.
In VR, that just makes perfect sense.
Oh, absolutely.
So you can imagine like dogfights with TIE fighters and X-Wings in VR. I think if they can nail that properly, that would be super, I think that would just sell like crazy.
Yeah.
I think because VR is quite hard to sell because it's such a sunk cost.
Yes.
It's a real investment. I mean, the new PSVR is like the same price as a PS5.
It is. It's $529.99 exactly,
Which
Matt,
is
and
just,
that is expensive.
And you can get, I think the Oculus Quest 2 is about $300, and you don't even need a PC or a console for that.
No.
So we'll see, but I do believe if they really wanted to make a cool Star Wars game in VR, it's doable.
Definitely, I think so. And do you think the Star Wars game are a good homage to the films? Do you think they kind of capture that well?
I mean, that's a real it depends on which game, but you look at anything from like Lego Star Wars that was just massive and people love that, and that was a real good homage, like a funny homage. But there's been a lot of Star Wars dross as well, in games. A lot. I mean, for every Jedi Knights Jedi KOTOR, because they're remaking KOTOR as well, Knights of the Old Republic, which is a game that I don't think enough people have played, because that was a BioWare RPG based in Star Wars. So I think Mass Effect, but Star Wars.
Yeah.
So they're remaking that as well. I think we can see they will all be, I think we're going to get some really cool games coming out in the next year.
Absolutely, just watch this space. I mean, there's been a little bit of delay though, Matt, on the old PS5 version of Football Manager 2023. It suffered a last-minute delay, which has not been great for people very, very excited to play the game. Sega has delayed the PlayStation 5 version of Football Manager less than a week before it's actually planned to go out. Now, while it's still planning release for the game, the PS5 as soon as possible, the company is cancelling pre-orders made through PlayStation Store. So you'll be getting a refund very soon if you've made a little cheeky pre-order there. But the developers did say they are devastated by these results, and we will continue to do everything in our power to get the game into the hands of PS5 gamers as soon as we can. How do you feel about that, Matt, being delayed very, very close to the big reveal?
As a man who has suffered from addiction to Football Manager in the past, I think not playing it is maybe the sensible idea. This is unusual. You don't really see this much. A delay of this, because the game's out in like 5 days.
Yeah.
It's already people are already reviewing it on PC and Xbox and things. So the fact that on one console they can't release it, that indicates to me that there must be something they weren't expecting that's very last minute, because the game must be working, because otherwise they wouldn't be willing to release it. So I'm wondering if there's something to do with licensing.
Yeah.
Sony do the Champions League, and And I don't know, I think they do have it in Football Manager, but there might be legal problems that mean that they have to like get agreements and et cetera, et cetera. Doing, this late in the day, that's unusual.
Definitely, and I think what you said there about partnerships and things like that, obviously there's a lot of brand deals that go into these games, isn't there? So
Especially on football, like the
yes.
money in football. obviously FIFA isn't going to be FIFA anymore from next year because they're moving all the money around. So
yeah, that's exactly it. Well, I mean, it's worth a watch, but hopefully they'll get back on track and PS5 players can get their hands on it.